Something I want you to remember. You weren't wrong for believing in them. They were wrong for deceiving you. In narcissistic, toxic, emotionally abusive relationships, people keep believing in the narcissistic person. You may believe in them when they tell you that they didn't lie to you. You may believe them when they tell you that they didn't betray your trust. You may believe them when they tell you that they will never do that again, whatever that is. You may believe them when they make a promise. You may believe them when they tell you that they were going to go to therapy or they were going to do the work. You may believe them when they tell you that after next week, after next month, after next year, things are going to be different. You may believe them when they tell you that they are going to change. In fact, I am sure that you did believe them at least once, and probably a lot more than that. You believed them. Why did you believe them? Lots of reasons. Because you wanted to believe them. Because you hoped they could change. Because you wanted the thing that they promised. Because you loved them. Because you had empathy for their situation, or what they were going through, or what they have gone through in their lives. Because you thought you were being cold, or cynical, or defeatist if you didn't believe them. Because other people told you to believe them, and the other people believed them too. Because you believe in second chances. Because you believed in forgiveness. Because you were trauma bonded and didn't even know that was a thing. And then the problem is that after you believe someone in one of these relationships, well, you know how that goes. They betray you again. The promise is broken. They do that, whatever that is, again. The change doesn't happen. They blame you for whatever you believed in. They blame you for why they couldn't do and make the change that you expected of them. And with this in particular, it has a rough effect on people. After you believe them, and all of this happens, you would think that the prevailing emotion would be anger. But sadly, more often, you felt foolish, stupid, ashamed, embarrassed, naive, codependent. So let's break that down. Because this is what happens in every narcissistic relationship repeatedly. And over time, you know this because it probably happened to you. What we don't hear is that the survivor says, well, this isn't okay. They violated my trust. They lied. They deceived me. Instead, what most survivors say is, I was so stupid for believing them. This is a real barrier to healing because believing someone you love, believing someone you are in a relationship with, believing a family member, believing a friend, believing a colleague, this is pretty base model stuff. It isn't even just about love. It's about the foundational aspects of trust in a relationship. It is interesting that not only are survivors quick to blame themselves in relationships, other people are bound to say this to you also. Oh, come on, I can't believe you believed him again after last time. You really believed him? I mean, keep in mind, of course, that these are the same people that may have viewed you as cynical if you didn't believe the narcissistic people in the first place. Again, we're back to you can't win. Healing is being able to more quickly shift from I was wrong for believing them to they were wrong for betraying my trust. And listen, the real win is that you go right to they were wrong for betraying or lying or repeatedly breaking promises. But that is not realistic. We tend to go through the self-blame phase. That's part of the grief. And then we work our way to the next. But to be able to step back from that idea that I did the bad thing for believing someone who promised me something, I can sort of get that if you believe that a spam email that came to your inbox promising you a $100 million inheritance if you just send $50,000, I can get that, but this is not that. This is about believing someone whom perhaps you were raised to trust, or have a family with, or have had a long friendship with, that you might have known for 50 years. It doesn't feel good to slowly recognize that a relationship we are in, a close, important relationship, it doesn't feel good for that to feel like a grift. So blaming ourselves moves the onus and culpability to us. It gives us a little more control, and strangely, it can make the world seem a lot less scary, because then maybe we can fix it because we're the problem. But there's a big cost to doing that. And that is that you slowly build up this identity of yourself as foolish or naive or a sucker or a doormat. And that in the long term, that is going to affect how you go through life and go through relationships. This mindset can also keep us stuck in toxic relationships because we do blame ourselves, saying things like, I was foolish for believing them. Again, viewing yourself as the weak link in the chain, and then that's not true. Empathy and compassion, which are important values for many healthy people, can actually make you more likely to blame yourself for believing in someone. And the twisted part is that if you don't believe them, and you tell them that you don't believe them, well, then it's gaslight city. And they'll say something like, see, the problem is you. You are so cynical. You are so untrusting. You are so cut off. Blah, blah, blah. The win is to learn to not believe them, to not blame yourself when they do you wrong, and not let them know ahead of time that you don't believe them. You don't want to give them that tell. It's like living in a perpetual game of guess the liar first. You can't let them see your tell, and you have to literally plan your life around their upcoming betrayal or broken promises. Now, this is not a long-term sustainable strategy. Remember, it was the person in the relationship, whomever they are, your partner, your spouse, your sister, your father, your best friend, your cousin, your business partner. It was the person in the relationship who lied to you, who betrayed you, who future faked you, who kept you around on the basis of a false premise. That's not okay. It's their behavior that was not okay. It's easy for us to think of ourselves as an easy mark or as foolish while we are in these relationships or afterwards. It is easy for us to think of ourselves as Charlie Brown running to kick Lucy's football. We can sit there and say, I should have known better. It isn't about knowing. My guess is that earlier than you ever recognized, you did know better. But knowing and feeling are not the same thing. And other complicated forces, like trauma bonding and hope and even love, intervene and undercut rationality. Narcissistic relationships work, not because we are dumb, but because we care. And we want to believe the people that we care about. Does that mean that healing means you stop caring? Hell no. Because that capacity to care is an integral part of you as a human being who's going to go forward to connect with other people, healthy people. But it does mean that you stop kicking yourself for believing someone who was selfish and entitled and didn't have empathy and who was a top-notch betrayer and manipulator, and instead see that who they are is someone who is willing to do this. And that is a them thing. And we can say it together. It's not you, even though it feels like it is sometimes. How does that old saying go? Don't hate the player, hate the game. You can actually be mad at both. Just don't hate yourself for the simple act